Assalamu alaikum dear students, hope you'll be doing well. Today we are going to start our lesson with the exercise of the poem Daffodils, and the topic that we are going to cover today is figures of speech. Now figures of speech, what they are and how do we use it in the poem or in the poetical language. So let's read about it. Figures of speech basically tell us that the words that look literal, they do not have a literal meaning. They have some other meaning that enhances the quality of a word or quality of the product or quality of any written work. For example, simile, metaphor, personification, imagery, onomatopoeia, these are all the words that enhance the style and language of any poetical combination. So, the first one is simile. This is not a new term for you, dear students. You have been doing it since your childhood. That simile is a figure of speech in which like or as is used to make a comparison between two ideas that are basically dissimilar. Now, they can be living thing can be compared with a non-living thing. A non-living thing can be compared with a non-living thing. A living thing can be compared with a living thing using like or as. So, comparison of the qualities of two things is called the simile. For example, her eyes twinkle like stars. Now, eyes and stars are being compared using the word like. Similarly, she was as busy as a bee. Now, she is compared with bee. Now they are very opposite things, they are very opposite beings, but their quality is being compared with as. The next is metaphor. If we write a comparison between two things and omit the word like, then we are using metaphor. It is, dear students, same like simile. We actually do the comparison between two beings or two things, but we do not use any particular word like or as. For example, he proved a loin in the fight. Now he is being compared with a loin, but he is directly referred to as a loin. So that is why it is a metaphor. His heart is red rose. Now his heart is being compared with a rose without using like or as. So that is why this is the metaphor. Now let's move to the personification. Personification is a figurative language technique where an object or idea is given human characteristics or quality. For example, if a non-living thing is given a human quality, that singing, dancing, eating, crying, like, so these all are the human qualities. If these qualities are associated or properly given to a non-living thing, then this would be the personification. For example, the candle flame danced in the dark. Now, obviously, we all know that the flame of the candle cannot dance in real, but this is just a quality of a human being that we give to that candle or a candle flame. So that is how this is personification. The sunflowers nodded in the wind. Nodded mean to move your head. Now sunflowers have no head, but still they are shown as nodded. So this is the quality of human being that is given to the sunflowers. The next one is imagery. Now, dear students, you are seeing the word is derived from the word image. So image is something that comes in your mind when you read something, when you talk about something, or when you hear something. It's a brain quality that your brain makes images in its mind, or you make images in your mind whenever you read, you hear, or you talk something. So imagery is basically the construction of details used to create mental images in the mind of the reader through the visual sense as well as the sense of touch, smell, taste and sound. So imagery is basically a figure that triggers the five senses of human beings when because imagery we are talking about the written language or the written transcript. So whenever you read something, it triggers your five senses. So that is how you make image in your mind. For example, visual, huge trees in the thick and dark forest. Now you start making images in your mind of a forest and then you make images of trees in that, and then you imagine that this is what poet would be talking about. Auditory, the rustling of leaves. Now, rustling of leaves is related to sound. You cannot make image in your mind in the form of a picture. So definitely you will try to feel it, that and if you have heard the rustling of leaves before, so you will try to reimagine by your ear, by your auditory could say sense, that something is rustling and what could be the sound like. Similarly, smell, scent of apples. So you start, imagining the smell of apples. Taste, sweet and juicy oranges. Touch, rugged and rough path. Now, rugged is something that is uneven, and rough path. So when this kind of word is used, so you start imagining the rugged path in your mind. So this is what the technique of imagery that usually poets use to just enhance their expression. So, dear students, we have two exercises here. In daffodil, similes are used in stanza number 1 and 2. Can you tell what two things are compared in each of these stanzas? Now, I have told you in detail what similes, metaphors and personification are. Now you are supposed to find out simile in first two stanza to your own, and if you remember in the previous lectures when I was explaining for first or second stanza, I have discussed everything in that lecture. So you are supposed to do this question to your own as your assessment. Then you have to pick out one example of personification of the poem. There are more than one example of personification. You can find out and you can pick out to your own. Alright, so next exercise is, here is a list of few similes, metaphors and personifications. Can you identify them? Write S for simile, M for metaphor and P for personification. Now, time is money. Time is being compared to money without using as or like, so it is metaphor. As busy as a bee, simile. The wind widespread the rumors of the forest. This is personification. Wind cannot spread rumor. This is a human quality. As gentle as a lamb, simile. The sorry engine wheezed its death cough. Now, engine cannot be sorry. Again, it's personification. The heart of lion, metaphor. The apple of my eye, metaphor. As cunning as a fox, simile. Brown grass was begging for water, personification. As wise as an owl, simile. Blanket of snow, metaphor. As black as a crow, simile. Now, underline the words and phrases that depict imagery in the poem. Now, this exercise is you are going to solve to your own, so you could have a better understanding when you practice it. That is it for today, dear students. Take care of yourselves and Allah Hafiz.